Yay! Hey, everybody. So, welcome back. It's, a wonderful day for Strands. Your friendly group of five wonderful people who are playing Dungeons and Dragons in my wonderful homebrew world. I am your humble host and dungeon master for this evening, Callan McHale. You can find me at Callan McHale on Twitter. You can also find me in the chat as the Positive DM, and you can find me in our wonderful Discord as the as Callan, as well. So before we get into all of our wonderful little doodads, let's start with introduce the rest of the players. Lily, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Lily, and you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Just a Little Nerd. I also DM over on the Roll for Damage channel, which is like damage but with an E because we are femmes and friends. So yeah, I'm around in the D&D world, and I'll also be in this chat as Lil Tranwreck. So go find me somewhere or just watch me here, but also have a wonderful life. And passing it off to Matt.
That sounds so final. Have a wonderful life. I am Matt. You can find me on Twitter at MatthewKenRBM. And then otherwise, I'm here and glad to see everybody. I pass it to Casey.
Howdy do. I'm Casey on the social medias, and today I'm playing Vitruscaith, and you will see more of that later. And I'll pass it to Carl.
Hi, I'm Carl, and I'm playing Teleps Vardariana. You can find me at places, but it's not, it's difficult to find me in those places, so really don't even try. And go ahead, Gallant.
Okay. All right. Don't even try finding me. That is secret. I apologize for the wonderful scenery. I am out of town today, so I will be trying to do this remotely from my wonderful doohickeys and devices and remoteness. But before we start and get into the fun stuff, right, I want to thank a couple of things. First, let's thank our sponsors, Campaign Coins. You can find these wonderful group of people as they do basically coins and D&D props and all of these wonderful things that you can, so check them out at campaigncoins.com. Secondly, you can check out our Discord, right? We have a wonderful Discord server, or Open for Adventure, in which we have a wonderful group of people that kind of chat and talk about all things nerdy and fabulous, including Dungeons and Dragons and our wonderful stream. And these wonderful people are just a great group of people to chat with and just get to know. And then last but not least, we have the Twitter, which is you can do. Is everything all right, Carl? Am I going crazy?
No, you're good.
Okay. Okay. I was like, I wasn't sure that was a cue. So yeah, you can check us out at the Twitters, right, at Open for Adventure, and you can check out where they're going to talk about the streams and when we're doing things and any updates on any wonderful things going on this wonderful channel for any event. That being said, Carl, did I leave anything out this time?
Nope, you nailed it.
Heck yeah, right? First time, right? For me, at least. Okay, so let's get back into the wonderful, wonderful adventure that we're starting in Strands. And I'm going to have Matt this time go ahead and try to recap us on what happened last game.
So the party, after falling somewhat unconscious or hitting a fugue state in Heaven's Crest, awakened in a secluded wooden lodge in the middle of nowhere with a woodsman named Radagast, who explained that it was about 4 weeks later and we were crazy far away from the last place we remember. Vaguely, we sort of remember maybe we were under a charm effect for a while. We came into town, didn't really like each other much, got there and met a gal named Madame Angela, a cleric of Kellenvor, who she cares a lot about dead people and making sure that's taken care of, right? But she let us know that pretty much we're avalanched in and stuck in place. But if we do her a favor and find a couple of folks out there who are missing and probably dead, she'd ask her frost giant friend Garnosh to clear out a path for us so we can get out maybe to Gullsport. We get the feeling that we keep running into these twins who can change their shape and appearance, who are probably responsible for our predicament. And they have a 4 or 5 day head start on us. They're probably outside the valley already by now. So party's trying to figure out what to do. We went to the Blue Blizzard, which is the tavern in town run by Fidget, the brother of Radagast, and found a couple of folks, specifically Cedric and Caleb, who were missing some family members. So we went to go hunt them down, and with the aid of Teleps's faithful dog Fletch, we went into the woods, to find them against Vitruscaith's preference. And right as we seemed to get upon something, we were set upon by a big, scary brute of a monster, and we left it there.
Right. So, you're left with this monster, and just to add in there too is that the Vitruscaith's preference was it seemed that she was more interested in trying to maybe first take out look at Jeb's encounter. So she met Jeb privately. And he was
But we all know Jeb's just a crazy guy. He was clearly drunk and burned down his house. Nothing suspect there.
Right. So crazy Jeb possibly burned down his house. Possibly there was a dragon that ate him, and his wife. So, who knows? But so you guys trekked into the forest anyways to take a look, and as you wonderfully saw, Fletch did find something, and then you turn around and also found an owl bear. So, we will now begin with our story. Right. My friends, welcome to the bar. Oh, it's good times. We're just getting into the fun part. I left you on such a hell of a cliffhanger last time, and as we get closer, you'll get excited about the things that are coming, because so much more is coming. Right. So grab a drink, grab a seat, and let me tell you the rest of this story of these white strands that I speak of. Thaumaturgy and prestidigitation once again on his evening of the bar, and proceeds to give you this wintry snowed scene. The forest is covered in snow-capped trees. The ground is hard frost and snow, with crunching leaves and dirt and whatever uncovered moss that you've kicked up through your treks. And you had just heard the loud from this owl bear that's mutated in the back corners. You turn around, you see its feathers, and its skinny, nasty hide is pulled taut. It's gray, and it's kind of like snowy white colored with this weird owl-shaped beak that's a hodgepodge of bear features and owl features as this beak kind of goes forward, but he's got these bear claws and feathers that come sticking far out of his body. You kind of even wonder how this thing could even stay warm in a weather like this. The skin must be so thick and taut, and it looks almost malnourished. And it charges, and it starts to scream and howl. So everybody give me an initiative roll.
Do I have enough time to say something? Real quick?
Yes.
I just want to kind of tug on Christie's jacket and pull him back and say, remember, if there is going to be a battle, watch where you're maneuvering, because it could get messy. In addition, let Miles take most of the brunt of the damage. I sense there will be another fight after this one, and I would like for you to be prepared.
Roger that, Cap.
Is the owlbear far enough away when he charges us we can try to get... No, it's roll initiative. It's fine. We're good.
So, initiative, you say. I have one of those, and it is 9. I'm letting Miles take the brunt of the damage. As
little did you know, Miles is waiting, and he rolled a 5.
We're both just eyeing each other like, you gonna go for it? You gonna go for it?
Okay, so I've got... Wow, that's not a good roll. So, so who's got 15 or higher?
I have a 16.
Okay, so Teleps, and then anything higher than a 10? All right. Tires and 5s? Wow, higher than...
Oh, well, I mean, I had
Yeah,
a 9.
I thought you said tires and 5s. I was like, that makes no sense.
higher than 5s.
Yeah, I also got a 9.
Okay, so two 9s. So okay, so we've got is that you as well, Lily? Is that your character, Crises, as well? It's got 9. So Crises and Vitruscaith. And then you've got less than a 5.
Just 5 flat.
Okay, 5 flat. Okay, 5 flat. Okay, since Cindy
Just a question. Am I supposed to be doing the rolls and stuff in Roll20? No, don't have to. Okay,
no.
Cool.
Honor system, we trust you. Okay,
Also, I'll be right back.
Okay, and then I've got this kid. So, all right. So, this bear charges forward. He's making his charge forward. So, Teleps, you get to go first.
So the most recent Unearthed Arcana that came out a while back, actually, had alternate class features, and one of the alternate class features for the rogue was a bonus action to focus. They can't move anymore, but if they focus, they can give themselves advantage. Can I use that, or we want to wait until that's play tested?
Sure. For now, we can use it.
Okay. Well, then that's what I will do. I will take a. I'll see this crazy creature, and my dog is running away, and so I had everything ready, so I'll just take a deep breath and go, and I will let go with my longbow.
Okay.
With advantage, that is nat 20, 26
Okay.
total.
All right. Woo! Nat 20 on the first roll. Nice.
And because I had advantage, that means sneak attack.
Okay.
So a total of 12 plus 10 is 22, 27.
Holy moly! Okay, so you let this bow back. You take this deep focus in, and you fire as it goes, and it comes in. And you shoot it right to the side of the mouth. The owlbear gives a screecher, screeps and howls and rears back. His eyes enraged, and it looks like it's gonna come for you, my man. So next in line is Crises and Fitcherscape. So take your order however you want to take it.
I like going by whoever has the highest dex modifier, because that's like reasonable.
Classic.
What do you think?
Sure.
I have a
that's fine.
+2.
I have +3. Okay. All right.
Okay. So Fitcherscape, you go first.
Making sure that things work the way that I think they work. Yep, they sure do. I will cast Dragon's Breath on myself as a bonus action. I do not yet get to use it. But it is now activated.
Okay.
And then for my action, I will use. Let's see. This is a snowy owlbear, so I'm just gonna spit a loogie at it. I'll use Acid Splash.
Okay. Okay.
So it's a DC 14 Dexterity save, and if you fail, it's 5 acid damages.
Okay, so I do succeed with an 18.
Okay, all right, nothing happens.
Okay, dokie. So you see, she starts to weave the spells that she weaves, and you see the runes start to pop up, and you see her, spit part of the spell out, and then it misses just at his feet. The acid hits the ground and clears the snow a little bit. And all right, next is Crises.
I'm gonna just stand there in the snow and taking in the words that Boss said. I'm just gonna delay my turn until after Miles goes, and I'm gonna eye him up real slowly and just see how he handles this and how he handles himself, and I'll go after him.
Okay, so you can hold your action, right? So if
Yeah.
you're ready in action. So what are you readying to do? You've got to kind of declare what your expectation is.
Oh, I will hit that thing with my great axe.
If it comes in range, I guess. Yeah. Okay.
Oh no,
okay.
just until after Miles goes. So
Right. So and
I'm waiting for him to move, and as soon as he moves and does something, I'll move and do something.
Okay. So all right then. Incendiar, go next.
I give Crisis a sidelong look, and I am just going to hold my action and cast Booming Blade. If he gets within range, I'll hit him. Otherwise, I'm just going to stand here.
Okay. So is Booming Blade a full action or is that a bonus action?
It's an action.
Okay. So you're just
So
basically
no
not holding
movement,
an
just standing there holding an action.
action. Okay. Right, but you're casting. Oh, okay. So you're going to cast Booming Blade.
So I'm holding my action. If he gets within range, I'm going to hit him with Booming Blade. That's it.
So you see he starts to weave the magic spells. Crises, you see him start to weave the magic spells, and he starts to rear up with this blade as he's about to pretty much wallop on this creature. Crises, do you want to do anything else since you're pretty much in this action phase of him doing that now?
Yeah, I'll see the light show that Miles is putting on over there, and I'll just casually unswing my great axe from my shoulder, and I'm just gonna step in front of him and say, "I got you, little man." And I'm gonna wait for that thing to move up closer, because I'm sure as hell not getting over there with it.
Okay. All right. So it's action, right? 'Cause it did a wonderful job at rolling a 2. It runs up on this curve, right, and it's going to take its attack on Teleps, who did a wonderful job of shooting it in the face. It's pissed, so it starts heaving up the snow and the dirt and everything else as this massive, probably 2-ton creature comes running towards, and just skeletal bones and feathers and a mass of screeching and howling, and it roars at Teleps and takes its.
So can I ask how it gets in there? Because as soon as he comes into range, I use my reaction to hit him with booming blade.
Yep. So he is going to show up and take his action, and then you have a reaction because he's entered into the space. Mm-hmm. So he's going to be basically like charging at the same time. So all of this is kind of really happening at the same time. So it is still going to be able to make his attack because of the way it works. But you're going to come in and make your attack as well on the creature because it's kind of like running as a charge. So we'll go with. Well, let's go with you first then, because you're going to be swinging. So it's at
14
coming in, and you're going to be 14 to hit. 14 does hit. So go ahead and roll damage.
And where this matters is part of booming blade. Ooh, max damage, 11 damage. And part of it is if he moves, he takes an additional 1d8 thunder. So if I hit him before he gets in range of Teleps, he's subject to that. If he comes up and we just hit him simultaneously, then he's not subject to that.
Okay, so go ahead. So how much damage did you do?
11.
11 damage. Okay. So he is going to take that extra damage because he is still moving because he's in a charge, right? So you come down, you swing at its kind of like torso and come up and hit him in the chest, and you hear that boom, and then you hear that thunder damage come off right afterwards. So go ahead and roll. He
takes an extra 6 thunder damage.
Jeez. Okay. Making quick work of this guy. Okay, and then Crises, you can go ahead and take your attack.
So hopefully with what was like the same motion of me bringing my axe down again, I probably then realized that I was looking a little bit too cool for school because I rolled a nat 1. So whatever comes with that.
No, the thunder threw you off. The sudden boom.
Right. The cold and the thunder. I hate the cold.
So you step up and you kind of like step right into this rock as this creature is moving forward. And you're like, "I got you, sweetie!" Right? And then you take that act. You take your weapon and you go swing down, and you just totally you kind of like misstep and you hit like a rock under the snow and you kind of stumble a little bit. You catch yourself, but this creature comes blaring by. And then you hear the boom of the chest as this creature gives that large howl as it steps forward, and charges forward to try to hit Teleps, and gets met by Incendiar's blade. So. And then this creature is going to make his attack. So his first attack is he's...
Before he makes his attack, as a rogue scout, I have a feature called Skirmisher. And I can move up to half of my speed as a reaction when an enemy ends its turn within 5 feet of me without provoking an opportunity attack.
Okay, so it's when it ends his turn, right?
When it ends its turn. Oh yeah, true that.
Yeah. So it's crazy good. Not that.
It's not that good.
It's like every time somebody shows up within 5 feet of you, you miss. It's like stop. You don't get to hit.
I was gonna say that sounds more like a scamperer.
Yeah. So he rolls. Let's see here. So he rolls a 17 as he tries to gouge you with his beak.
It hits.
Does that hit? Okay. He rolls a 17, and then let's see. You take 12 points of damage as he gouges into your beak with his piercing damage, right? He screeches and howls, and he comes up and he goes, "Ah!" and he just kind of clips right into your shoulder as you kind of are stumbling back as this giant creature is barreling towards you with an arrow still sticking out of its mouth. And then he takes his second attack, which is one of his claws, and he is going to. That is an 18 to hit.
Hits.
So that's going to hit as well. And he is going to do... Okay. Let's look at... So he does... Takes another 14 damage. He rakes across your chest. And basically gouges into your armor. Screeching and howling and covering the ground with blood as he sprays your blood across the ground.
I I feel like Teleps is now wishing that he was like, oh, if only I had that ability where I could have just like ran away as soon as he got close to me.
So yeah,
Okay.
I've got my bow, and I let the shot go, and all of a sudden he's on top of me. It's like I'm just getting ragdolled. Miles.
Oh my god.
It's the common phrase that he makes when he's getting attacked. Miles. Okay, we're gonna go back. That's all it kind of really does, and it gives a screeching howl at the end of it. You know, you're not grappled, so you can kind of make your way if you want to take that. He has ended his turn within 5 feet of you. If you'd like
Yeah,
to.
I do
jump
that.
out.
I do that very much. So yes, thank you.
Okay. So Teleps, it takes off 10 feet because he's like, oh God, what have I done? Right. And we're at the top of the round with Teleps again. So.
All right, I will. I feel like I was thrown back almost. So I'll just get back up and just take another shot. But again, centering myself, giving myself advantage.
Okay.
To be super steady. 20 to hit.
20 does hit.
So with sneak attack, that is 13 damage.
13 damage. Okay. All right. So it takes about 13 damage. So the arrow shoots past and gets him in the shoulder, and he screeches again, and then turns his head, because he's got this giant flaming man standing next to him that's bright and shiny, and looks like his plate mail needs crunching. So next is Bitch Escape.
Okay. I will move 10 feet that away. Thrust my arms back, and it really sincerely looks like I'm projectile vomiting all over this thing, like in an intense way, as I do the dragon's breath with the acid damage effect.
Okay. That's a dex check for me, correct?
Correct. And yeah, that's going to be empowered. Hold up a minute.
Oh, okay. He fails the dex check, that's for sure.
Well, that's good. We'll re-roll 2 of those bad boys. That's better. So 6 plus 5 is 12. 12 acid.
Okay, so you're spraying acid all over him. He starts to screech and squeal. You can see the acid pockmarking and basically bubbling into his skin. So how do you want to do it?
I would like to melt it. I would like its eyeball to, like, its face to lose structure, and its eyeball just comes rolling down and plops into the snow. And of course, you see some brain bits coming through where the skull's being melted away, and then it loses all function in its body at that point, and it'll just hit the ground with its knees and just bleh.
Okay, hits the ground, covers the, this pool of acid, and then, it's cleaned the snow out, and the blood's dripping out, brain pieces staying everywhere, the eyeball sitting, coming out of its mouth like a bad pocket pool game, and then he's just dead sitting there, and it's melted and crushed in a way, and you guys kind of can take your breath.
Damn,
not
boss.
a breath, like a beat of just right at her, okay.
What?
Nothing. That was not something you see every day. Or maybe it is. I don't know. Hey, Crisis,
I
do you
do.
see this every day?
Yeah.
Good to know.
She's got a mean tongue on her. And not in the usual way. Oi, Tulips, you alright over there?
Ah, no. Oh, that was very painful. Ah.
Yeah, you should think about hiring Boss as a bodyguard, maybe. Less pretty lights, more
You can't
Yeah.
help me.
stuff.
Yeah, you should try that.
Miles, come on. Oh. It's clearly coming right for me.
You've had it worse.
Can I do a perception check to sense if anything is happening around us now that this, like, is there more?
Yeah. Just go ahead and roll perception check.
Sweet. That is 17.
Yeah, so what tells you a perception check is everybody's kind of screaming. You hear Tullips like, Miles, help me, right? And then you hear, like, it's a DRB, like, you bad words. You see that Fletch is kind of taking a step back from the creature, but it's still tentatively looking in the, like, basically northeast direction now, where it was originally pointing and saying, like, look, hey, like, there's he's still got those eyes that are telling you that something's in the distance there as well.
I'm gonna walk over to Teleps and see what I can do to help him out. If there's anything that, like, I can stop any kind of bleeding from those slashes or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can definitely kind of try to patch him up, and if you have a spare cloth, you've got furs and stuff, so you can kind of patch him up from a basic standpoint of, like, human empathy and being like, hey, let me patch it up here, I'm gonna wrap you up
while
here.
we're this close,
Yeah.
while we're here, and I'm kind of crouched down helping him and be like, some friend Miles is.
I'm looking at Miles's sword or whatever, like, hey, you ring that thing a lot?
Most days. I imagine that we're, like, apart staring at those two as Vitterskate's taking care of them. Ring it a lot?
You know,
mean the
the
thunder?
fans. Yeah.
Yeah, I find it quite useful. Someone gets close to me and they have to stay close, or they got to ring it in the ears.
I like the sound of it.
Sorry if it. I mean, I assume you missed because of the ring, but next time you'll see it coming.
Nah, I just stepped on a rock, but I like that ringing sound. It sounds familiar, like I heard it somewhere before. Comforting.
We have an interesting relationship, but he's usually quite accomplished. I don't know what he was waiting for there. Something was probably distracting him. That's all I can think.
Accomplished, I could understand, but between me and you, I feel like his treatment of you is downright abusive sometimes.
I mean, you're not wrong. I sometimes feel as if I am not respected as much as I would like. But again, we have an interesting relationship. It's a give and take.
Okay, well, do you think you can walk?
Yeah, I will manage. Miles!
Would you?
Your boss is calling you.
He's not my boss, more of my
Boyfriend?
project.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm a project.
But there are many who would like that title. I am not one of them. Yes, Teleps, are you alive?
Can you
I mean,
just
you're
help me?
complaining, so clearly yes.
I just need some assistance. Just brace me a little bit. I am wounded.
Okay. You grab him, pull him up, pull him to his feet a little bit. Check it out. I'm no medic. I don't think you'll die. You're complaining enough. You shouldn't be dying. So
I shouldn't have been hit.
Well, he did run up a little quicker than I expected, but we'll just stay a little more behind me next time. We'll be all right.
Where's Fletch?
Where is Fletch?
Fletch is standing kind of close to you as it realizes you're wounded, but they kind of realize that, hey, look, I'm not, I'm saying, like, I'm focused at my master being wounded, but at the same time, I'm also concerned that there's something going on in the distance that I can see, smell, or hear. And with that, we have, like, you kind of start to notice as you kind of die down and you say, Fletch, and you look down, you kind of all stop for a moment and kind of hear the soft whispers of words. Everybody give me a perception roll.
Ooh. 19.
Looks like Lily dropped, but she should be returning shortly.
Oh, there she is.
I'm here.
Here she is. It looks like we're on your other mic.
Yeah, you're on your other mic, Millie. Okay, so everybody give me a perception roll. So Casey, what did you get for perception?
18.
18. What did you get, Miles?
19.
19. Okay, what did you get, Teleps?
10. I have passive of 16.
Okay, yeah. And then Lily, go ahead and roll me a perception roll as well. Well, actually, we're gonna keep yours, right? Well, that's fine. But I heard you roll it. So go ahead.
Because my
Okay, so good. So you guys do hear catch on the wind. Most of you hear just some weird kind of murmuring coming from almost like if it was an echo in the valley. You hear up inside, it's almost like a Vitruscaith, you realize that it's basically some kind of spell chanting of some sort that you're not familiar with, in a language you're not familiar with. Matt, you're not familiar with this language either, and even our Asimar friend isn't familiar with what's going on. Besides the fact that you can kind of maybe tell that there's somebody whispering in the distance, and the only person that can actually tell what's being spoken is Telep's character. And Teleps, you basically hear soft words, and it's almost like it's common, but it's not, because you pick up weird words that it didn't say this, but it sounds like somebody had said rise again, or come to me, or come to my voice, and that's kind of what you hear off the wind.
As we all hear this whispering, I'm going to stand up and look towards the direction, and something kind of cool happens in which this tiny little pinprick of light appears between my horns, and then it seems to absorb all of the light right around my head, and then it expands again and gets sucked into the tips of my horns. I'm using my Font of Magic to expend a first level spell to regain a sorcery point, and then I'm going to turn it back around, if I had the time, and spend 3 sorcery points to regain a second level spell slot.
Okay, yeah, so that's awesome. So it soaks in, and you kind of do this cool magical effect with your horns, and everybody kind of witnesses that she is doing some kind of channeling of sorts.
I hear a whisper on the wind. Do you all hear this?
Yeah, I hear it, but I don't understand shit.
It's saying something about rising again. I cannot quite place it or make sense of it.
Miles, go burn the body.
The snow owl bear?
Yes. That sounds like necromancy.
A bolt of flame hits the snow owl bear.
Okay, so you hit the snow owl bear. After maybe a bolt of flame or two, you kind of start to catch it on fire and start to sizzle, and it starts to kind of smolder away, but you're struggling to get it to heat up. But it gets to a point where you're starting to sizzle it good, starting to crackle and keep fire.
Well, it wants someone to rise. Let's rise to the occasion. I'm very curious where this is from. And I'm going to start marching towards the sound that I don't understand, but I can hear it.
Yeah, okay. As you start to hear it get louder and louder, but Teleps is the only person that seems to understand the words that are coming, and he starts to hear, like I said, it's almost like broken common, that some dialect you've maybe heard before, Teleps, and you basically hear, come with us, join us, come with us. And as you get closer to this chanting, so you're walking, but it's on the wind, right? So it's still quite a distance to get it to pick up and come back.
I will share that the words, they are changing. They are now saying, "Come with us and join us." I mean, I don't know who the us is, and I don't know if we are even the intended recipients of this communique. However, I think we should be very cautious as we proceed.
How dark is it?
So it's pitch black. It's towards the evening time, and it's the winter time, so it's probably about 5 o'clock at night. But it's dark, and you're in the woods. So even with the spotted moonlight, it's pretty much dark out at this point. Besides what light you're shedding.
I close my eyes and I think a moment, and then my eyes open and they glow, and I cast dim light all around us. Not just where I'm looking, but stronger where I'm looking. But there's a dim light around the group.
Okay.
Hey, look, Hot Stuff's a nightlight. I think that's a good new nickname for you.
Hot stuff? I'll take it.
Okay, as you start to, are you guys progressing forward? Is my understanding here? You guys are progressing forward, following Incendiar as he's making his way towards the sound.
Not trying to be particularly stealthy. I can hear it, just marching towards it.
I'm letting Miles get a few feet further ahead than before. Just, bite me once, shame on me.
Okay. Yeah. So what's basically happening?
Are there any tracks, or do I just hear like the voice?
So you just hear basically these voices, and you see faint tracks from what looks like somebody carrying something possibly, and feet marks, but looks like somebody's dragging something behind them in this snowy terrain. Looks like they were dragging a good bit behind them.
Crisis, walk with me.
You talking to me, Hot Stuff?
I mean, do you have an alternative name you'd like?
No, but I usually hear please when people ask me for things.
Funny that.
I won't walk with him, but I'll walk up to him, kind of.
Okay.
What's up?
Oh, you have an impressive axe. I want to see it in action. Don't want to risk the chance that you wouldn't get the opportunity. Because, frankly, if your boss gets to it first, there might not be anything left for us to have some fun with.
Yeah, she's a real killer, that one over there. But, my axe can take a few when it needs to. If it don't need to, it don't need to.
So, what is her deal, though? How did you wind up? I mean, it doesn't look like she needs a bodyguard, and you're a general.
Not a bodyguard. Yeah.
That's right. So how'd you get that accomplished position?
Well, you see, her story is her story to tell, not really one that I can pass along for her. But what I can say is that I'm a person that gets stuff done. She needed some stuff done, I follow her around and get it done for her.
Well, sure, but what's your story? Why'd you wind up in her employ's the wrong word?
I'll kind of at this cross my arms, and when the anime guy is sort of in that pensive mode and he goes really, really straight tall and kind of strides along straight, that's what Crises is doing, kicking up the snow a little bit, and they're just yeah, my story's a bit more complicated because I don't really have one per se. I came from somewhere and then, I don't know, I fell or something like that, tripped over a rock or got thrown out of somewhere. Who can really be sure? All I know is I'm here. And then I meet a guy named Eric, and he gets me jobs, and then I do them. And then he hooked me up with Vitrascape, and now I do her stuff. That's about it. Anime guy, hair swoop of mystery.
So Eric hooked you up with Vitrascape, huh?
Yeah, you could say that in a way. Because of the circumstances, it helped to connect us.
So you feel, well, fair enough. You seem like you don't have much of a past, and that lady seems like she's got a lot of past, but not a lick of it makes sense.
Yeah, we're a pretty interesting combination, one might say. You should ask her about some of her stuff. It's interesting. Might endear her to you a little bit, or not. I can't really ever be sure. Depends on the type of person you are, I guess.
I'm a curious type, but I've never cared to be endearing or to be endeared. I don't know. Y'all seem like
hot
enough.
Stuff.
You seem like nice enough people, and I've got some sort of memory that we've been hanging out for a while, but frankly, well, I'm sure it's not the first time you've heard you're both probably an acquired taste.
Who can really say? I've never really been much to care about other people's tastes.
I like you.
Yeah, you're all right, hot stuff. Let's just keep everyone alive and figure out where the fuck those twins are so that we can kill them.
Well, that's right. Let's not keep everyone alive, just those two, and we can kill whatever gets in the way.
Look back to see if Teleps is still bleeding out over the snow.
He is to a degree. But
Every once in a while, I touch his wound, and then I.
See, it's stuff like that that's a little off-putting.
He doesn't seem to mind too much. You like that, Tulips? You like feeding boss?
That is a little strange, actually. Is this some sort of medical diagnosis? Is that their practice in the far-off Kalamshad? I am not
Not at
familiar
all.
with this.
Not in the slightest.
Do you do this often? Do you taste people's blood?
Yes,
How does mine compare?
it's delicious.
On a scale of 1 to 10?
It tastes like you might enjoy a perfectly ripe, super sweet fruit.
But is that all blood or Teleps in particular? Because I've been told he's a super sweet man.
Teleps in particular does have a little bit of a floral fragrance, I guess.
Like tulips. I knew it. Is that why they call you Tulips?
You are the only one who calls me that. And I am both.
But now that I hear it, it just sounds right.
I am happy to know that I am delicious, but also slightly disturbed. I did not know I wanted to know this, but now I know it, and there's no going back. So let us carry on.
Aren't you happy you know it now, though? I'll tell the next owlbear we meet about it. I'm sure they'll be happy about it, too.
Now, do I need to be worried about insatiable hunger and eating people in the middle of the night, or is this just like an hors d'oeuvre kind of thing?
An hors d'oeuvre kind of thing.
Great.
It's just snacking. Don't worry about it, hot stuff. Why don't we just keep a lookout for whatever Fletch is sniffing over there? How's it going there, dog?
As Fletch takes his look, you hear him. You start to get really cold, and you start to see ice climbing up the sides of the tree. And you hear Fletch start to whimper, and he takes like a step back. And you guys kind of look forward, and you see something in the distance. And you're very close to what's going on. It's probably more than 60 feet in front of you. You hear it. You hear the strike, and Teleps gets the verbiage of some glimpse of in between the words. He hears like rise again, and then he hears like he'll hear words like come with us, rise again from the plane of shadow. You will come, serve us. And you see in the distance something glowing a soft blue.
It is right on the edge of my vision. They're saying something about the plane of shadow. It sounds like something is coming from another plane.
Should we interrupt it? I have no idea what these people are. This could just be like some druids hanging out in the woods. I don't know.
This is where Fletch has led us. This must be where our quarry is.
As they're conferring, I'm just going to walk straight ahead.
As you walk straight ahead, who's got dark vision? Does anybody here have dark vision? So the Genasi, don't raise your hand because I can't get all of you in the video.
Oh, right.
So,
I do, though technically mine is tinged red.
Okay, so the people who have a dark vision can see about 60 feet. You start to see that you make out the image. It's not just blue that's glowing. You start to see that it is a man sitting on a horse that is emitting basically frost from its hair. So what you would normally see is like a mane. You see like a shimmer of frosted fog that's emanating from its hooves and emanating from its mane. It's got dark, soulless black, almost like cobalt blue eyes. As it's kind of looking forward, its teeth are cobalt blue and frosted. Its skin is like a veiny, nasty, white, pale blue. And it looks like a very menacingly, terrifyingly large warhorse. And the man standing over it, and there's a cleric below him that is fully robed, and he's got like all these whites and blues on him. And he's an elven man that is like basically waving his hands kind of in the air, slowly chanting these things as this blue circle is surrounding what looks like 3 dead bodies that look like a man and 2 men and a woman.
I need 3 bodies to get out of here. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to walk right up to the side of the warhorse, giving it like a good 20 feet.
Well, maybe
even 10.
Okay, but so as you go ahead.
I'm going to do so like I belong there. Like, this is entirely like my people. And I will attempt to come stand kind of parallel to that dude on the horse.
Okay, so as you approach, the man on the horse looks down, and he gives a grimacing, toothy smile. He's fully cloaked, so you can't see his face. You can't see his hood. Basically, his hood sits below basically his chin, and so the only thing you see is he has what looks like a soft beard on the chin. And he looks maybe as if he has a human features from what you can figure out. Can you guys see me? Yes. Okay, cool. So he's got this human beard-esque. That's all you can kind of make from his features. And he reaches out his hand, and out of his hand comes basically 3 tendrils instead of a hand. It's like blue tentacled tendrils. And you just hear a soft screech of. Does anybody speak Abyssal?
Sorry. No, I don't. I speak Primordial.
Nope.
I think it's just wasn't sure if it was basically.
Nope. Infernal, Primordial,
okay.
And Undercommon.
Okay. So he basically utters something in Primordial, or sorry, in Abyssal. He goes, and you can see that his hand starts to shift and move as if it motions to the cleric. And then the cleric, looks up and says, "Yes, my lord." And then he basically says, "You've ruined it." And he reaches his hands up, and that body starts to shudder.
I firebolt at him. As soon as I see the 3 bodies,
everybody roll initiative.
From 60 feet away, I just chuck a firebolt.
You asshole!
Everybody roll initiative. Oh, goodness.
Crap.
Are we on roll 20 again? Should I go back to that?
Yes, you should. And Carl can pull it up. So.
Why, Matthew? Why?
I need 3 bodies to get out of here, and I just have such a short.
I'm right next to the warhorse, you asshole!
You walked really far ahead.
You didn't
so anybody higher than
I was going to do.
So anybody higher than a 20?
21.
Okay, so Teleps yet again on the top. Okay, anybody higher than a 15?
16.
16. Okay, anybody higher than a 10?
I have a 10.
Okay. Okay. Then anybody higher than a 5? Anybody higher than a 1? I think it's Indyar, you're the last one, right?
I'm 0.
That's not a thing. You get 1. Okay, so.
No. I rolled a nat 1, and I get a -1 on initiative. I rolled a 0.
That is. You go last. Period.
But I did throw a firebolt to start this thing off. So.
Okay, so go ahead and roll your firebolt because you did throw it off. So go ahead and roll it at whoever you're throwing it at. So
9.
9 on a firebolt. That misses it. It hits his chain shirt, but his chain shirt kind of just seams to absorb the firebolt.
Well, I was shooting for the cleric on the ground who was like waving his hands.
Right. So it hits his chain shirt, and
Gotcha.
it shimmers off. And at that, we will move to Teleps, which is the top of the round.
All right. So the 3. So I'm avoiding the meta knowledge of the tokens, or what is suggested by the tokens. And so
Right, I
there
mean,
are
sure.
three bodies. They're not moving.
That
or
are
anything like that.
well, they shuddered awake, like they're like, and they're like, they've moved,
Okay.
in a violent motion, as if he is doing exactly what was mentioned earlier. So
Okay.
you can use if you know, obviously zombies are a thing in this world, so it's like you know that necromancy is a thing.
And in addition to the three bodies, there is a hooded character on a warhorse, and an elven cleric.
Correct.
And I understood the elven chant as to be some
Correct.
sort of summoning. So I'm going to hold the elven character responsible, and therefore I will take a deep breath, focus my target, and let rip with bandage.
Okay. So
18 to hit.
and this is on the cleric, you said?
Correct.
Okay. Yep. 18 does hit. It pierces through. You clink through, and it pierces through his one of his loose parts on his chain shirt, and kind of hits him in the shoulder.
With sneak attack, it is a total of 20 piercing.
Jesus. 20 piercing. Got it.
And that's it.
Okay. So next is let's go to Vitrascape. Vitrascape is next. So
I'm going to apologize in advance and reestablish that Vitrascape's opinions do not reflect mine or those of the channel. I'm so sorry. Yeah. Miles casts that firebolt, and one, I'm done with him. Two, I believe I can salvage this situation potentially. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whip around as soon as that attack gets made, and I'm going to actually be casting Chill Touch on Miles.
okay.
I like it.
So make that attack.
23
Hits.
for 2 necrotic.
To necrotic.
So you see her; she starts to chant, and her horns start to glow, and you see the hand reach out and scrape your face.
It's not just a skeletal ethereal hand. It's a taloned 3-clawed hand. It looks like a friggin' Draco Lich's hand.
Okay. So yeah, you see this dragon-esque Draco Lich hand scrape through your face, and do the damage as it kind of chills you to the bone a little bit. Do you say anything? I mean, you have free action to talk and stuff. Do you shout anything or say anything to him?
No.
Can I use a free action to talk or a reaction to talk?
Yeah, and in your turn, I allow dialogue. So go ahead if you want to have some dialogue, it's fine. Just don't make it lengthy.
Yeah, I'll see this happen. I'll be like, "Hey, boss, who am I hitting here?"
Control Miles.
Roger. I don't know who Roger is. I don't know.
Got it. So, okay. Is that all you do? Just is that all you do on this round?
Yeah.
Okay. So on the turn right after yours, you see the warhorse and the guy. He mutters some chant of some sort to the cleric, and he goes, "Yes, my lord, I will take care of them for you." And he goes to gallop off, provoking an attack of opportunity at roughly 5 feet, since you're kind of
From
standing
who?
almost next to the horse. From Vitrascape.
No,
standing next to the horse.
I'm trying to show them I'm on their side.
Okay. So he rides off into the distance.
It's a ruse.
On this horse, you see the frost. As the horse starts to move, you see this frost start to wick up the trees, and kind of almost start to wick up you. It starts to cool you, and starts to kind of freeze you in place. This terrain is now all that you're in is basically heavy terrain. So it's rough terrain. So you're going to struggle to walk through because everything's chilled to ice, and even these creatures that are rising, these zombies essentially that are rising. You're standing by them, by the way, and you do see that they have this like cut mark. It almost looks like a star with slashes in it, but it's a mess of blood and flesh. So you're not quite sure what the goal is here. But based on what the cleric's wearing, it looks like a giant, basically like shining star, maybe either that or a snowflake.
They did all see that I attacked Miles, right?
They did.
Okay, all right.
So you strike out, and the cleric looks over, and he smiles at you and says, "If you wish to join us, you're more than welcome, mistress." And then he conjures basically this dagger of ice out of his hand and flings it at the Asimar. So,
Do we hear any of that, or is it too far away?
nope, you hear it. So, give me just a second as I pull up that spell. Oh goodness. So right. I gotta move through 20 things. So my wonderful crises. What's your AC?
16.
Okay, so he rolled an 18 plus 5. So he hits with this ice knife, and does let's see. Oh wow, he does 1 damage to you as it explodes into shining shards, and then everybody around you that's 5 feet then takes damage. To everybody that's within 5 feet of you, go ahead. So that's basically everybody else. Roll me a dexterity saving throw.
18.
Ouch.
18.
Oh, excuse me.
8.
8. Okay, so the 8 fails, but the 18 hits are is good. So you duck out of the way as this explosion, basically shatters into a fan of ice knives, and doing a total of, wow, that's like the worst rolls ever. Does a total of 3 damage to Teleps and our friend Crises, as the ice tries to pierce into your skin and do a bunch of 2 and a 1 on 2d6.
I like to imagine I have my shield and I raise it up and it deflects stuff into Teleps.
Sucks. Yeah. Okay. So you're like basically like holding it up. You're like, no, and you're like throw it out. And so that's you've given up on his last leg there. And then it is the wonderful zombies' turn. They take basically their full action to kind of rise up and stand up in the snow, and you see that they're like basically this veiny, nasty blue, and they look like they have like these gouge marks from an owl bear. But they are basically like, moving slowly forward as they're just in these furs and coats and cloths, as they've been dragged, and they're starting to look like they're shifting their attention as the cleric, basically mutters something in abyssal, at Incendiar, as he motions to Incendiar. So next is Crises.
I'm gonna brush off my shoulder of the ice shards or whatever and be like, that was pretty fucking rude. And I'm gonna look over at Boss and just kind of be like, my fucking shoulder, man. And I'm just gonna go for the one who hit me with the ice knife. And so I am walking forwards. Also, I'm not opening Roll20 because I don't want my computer to crash again. So I want to just walk up to him. Will being in front of him put me within 10 feet of any of my allies?
No, because he is standing in the corner, so you're not going to be able to see. You're basically on the opposite side of where Vitruscate is standing.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'm just gonna approach, and like as I do, my eyes that are normally like wintry ice blue are just gonna go like black and like zone out. And then like sheathing off of my like black jacket and stuff, it looks like all these like shadows are like piling away, and they just sort of like encircle me, and I'm gonna be using Necrotic Shroud and walking towards the cleric and all of these zombies, and all of them that will be within 10 feet of me need to make a charisma saving throw of DC 11. And
so the zombies terribly fail, and the cleric succeeds.
all right. So the zombies are all frightened of me until the end of my next turn, and they have to make the save. This lasts for 1 minute or until you end it as a bonus action. Yeah. And once per turn, I can have one attack or spell that deals 3 points of extra necrotic damage to one target. So I'm just like sloughing off all this like necrotic energy off of me, and I'm just like, you shouldn't have fucking hit me when boss told you not to, man. And I'm going to action surge and then try and attack with my great axe. And that is going to be a 15 to hit the cleric. Oh wait, no, sorry, 16.
16 hits.
Sweet. And that will be, that'll be 14 damage plus 3 necrotic damage from my necrotic shroud. So like I unsling my great axe again. It's all like anime style, like shadows going everywhere, and I'm just like, fuck you.
Okay, so you see that the axe comes down, all the tendrils kind of like they do that close like, and they kind of encircle him, and then they like pull the wound up even more as the axe bites in, almost as if they're like working in tandem with your axe to kind of dig in deeper. And then next is going to be Incendiar's turn.
Things have not done anything like I thought they would. So she hit the cleric. I'm just gonna brace up in front of Teleps because I have done a terrible job of keeping him a little safe. So I'm gonna try to just raise my shield and maybe grant him cover. Like I'm purposefully interposing my body between him and others.
You can give him half cover, standing in front of him, so that they have basically he's gonna have increased AC when you do that.
And I'll just chuck a firebolt at the cleric because all my other options would catch frenemies. Not sure where this is going, so we're just gonna hold on and see what happens here for a second.
Okay. All right. So So launch the firebolt. So
21 to hit.
That will definitely hit as the firebolt scratches across his face.
Well, scratches is the right word too. It does 2 fire damage.
Oh, see, that's how I knew it, right? So, okay, so he takes 2 fire damage. As you see, it singes his cheek, and he smiles a toothy grin at you. As you can tell, his teeth are filed, and he mutters, he goes, "You will die like the rest of them." And then that's the. Is that the end of your turn, Senior?
Yes.
Okay. Top of the round, Teleps. Do the thing.
I will mention to Miles. Those 2 are terrifying. Jesus. I don't know who Jesus is, but man, they are very, very frightening.
In some ways, off-putting, and in other ways, very alluring. I totally agree.
I look at him very strangely as I'm pulling another arrow out. Am I able to fire from where I am without penalty, or do I need to move to avoid?
No, you don't. So you don't get any penalty by him standing kind of in front of you. You can fire through enemies, or, through allies. You have half cover. So what you can do is you can basically step out, shoot, and then step back in just fine.
We do this all the time. I stand in front of you, you shoot around me.
Right. I do want to give myself advantage though, which removes my movement after I do it. So if I do that, I'm going to no longer have the benefit of your cover. If I step out like that. So, but I do have to step out to avoid penalty. Is that right?
Yeah, because you're in half cover, so it's in half cover with you as well.
Okay.
So so you have to step, but you can in your same action step and move.
Well, I am going to move so that I can take aim and fire. So.
Okay.
With the advantage that is 20 to hit.
20 to hit, so that will hit.
With sneak attack, it is 15 damage.
15 damage. Okay, so right, your arrow pierces his chest, and he's and then he falls to the ground through his knees, clichely, and coughs up some blood, and then he looks up at the necrotic demon standing in front of him, and he goes, "I'll die 10 times and 10 times again before you." And then, and then he falls kind of on his face in the snow.
Good for you.
Yeah, good line, bud.
Weird flex.
And this is where we found out how it actually started, So Weird Flex came from Venturescape. All right, so that's Tilleps. You doing anything else? I mean, I'm assuming you're moving back in, maybe between you and
I
your
can't I can't move again because of the aim
Oh, okay.
thing. So I am where I am.
Okay, cool. So you step back. That's that, and then next is Vitros Kane with the 3 zombies standing in front of her.
They didn't run away because fear.
They have not had their. They basically stood up and Crises did her thing. So they haven't had their chance yet. We haven't got to their second actions yet.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're just gonna run away, so it's like. Okay. Yeah. No. Yeah. I'll just lazily spit some acid at one, I guess.
Right. So they're feared. So you've seen this action before, right? So they don't have to take their action to run. They just can't willingly advance forward on her character, right? So with the feared status, so that means that they can make attacks against you and her, but I think at her they're at disadvantage. Well, I guess at Lily's characters, I should say they.
Okay.
So you are familiar with that tactic because you've been in this situation before and seen that.
So what you're telling me is that you want to see more acid. Is that what you're saying?
I'm just letting you know that they are going to be able to.
I will give it to you. I'm a generous player.
We need the bodies.
You need the. Oh, that's a problem. Okay.
All bodies look the same when they're melted.
Okay. That's true. Maybe I can like melt half of them. No, I don't know.
I'm sure there are dental records.
Yeah. Right. Well, that'll melt too. Honestly, calcium's not safe. I will. If there is there any ground that I can see through the difficult terrain?
Yeah, I mean, you see the ruined circle that's here that's still glowing with them.
Okay. In that case, I will use mold earth to fuck that shit up and potentially put one in a 5-foot pitfall. The one that's in front of me.
Are you trying to mess up the runes too? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so.
But I'm also going to try to catch one of them, at least one of them. 2 would be great if I could do it like right in between them. They could all just.
Okay, so you proceed to your horns proceed to dig down, and you see like I'm assuming like it's kind of some ray of beam or some course that looks like mold in the earth.
This is more of a transmutation-y manipulation. It's not evocation. It's not energy.
Sure.
So you don't actually see anything happening. There's somatic components. So she literally uses her hand to sculpt whatever is going to be sculpted in the earth.
Okay.
So we'll do like a dig motion and pull that ground up.
So she digs up and she kind of like tosses the ground out of the way, breaking the runic circle. You see one of the creatures that kind of go to stumble and fall, and then you kind of notice that the other 2 zombies, they basically like just crumple into basically the blobbed mass of bones and whatever's left of this zombie. As when you've broken the circle, you realize that was some kind of spell that was keeping them bound, and without the cleric's abilities, it's rendered them useless.
Yay!
So you're out of initiative.
I like to hack at that body again of the cleric. Die a couple more times.
Okay, so yeah, you're hacking at the body of the cleric. You cut up its symbol. He's got like giant frost sigils and snowflakes all over his tabards, and he's got basically this giant snowflake-looking thing carved into his forehead.
Cool. I bet what was her name? Tits? Madame Angela. Yeah, I bet she'd like this.
Yeah, I'm
she
sure.
Said she wanted more bodies, right?
Yes.
You should bring this guy.
Well, she only wanted 3. 4. Who knows what that would get us?
This guy's got all kinds of magic symbols on him or some shit. Just saying, I think she'd get a kick out of it.
Speaking of a little bit of magic, looking at my cheek that has 2 or 3 like claw marks across it.
What about it?
I mean, I'm very happy the cleric's dead, and I'm very happy we're all okay.
Miles, you're so very careless. You're so careless that you're dangerous.
And yet, you're fine. Cersei,
because I'm not careless.
And yet, so this is on purpose, is what you're saying.
My clever plan, you see, was to make them believe that I was on their side so that they could tell us what they were planning. That one on the horse was obviously the commander. We have stumbled upon something here that this is just a fraction of a much greater picture. If you really were interested in helping the village, you would have allowed me to converse with that one before shooting a firebolt at it.
What makes you think I care about the village at all? We've been over this. We need some bodies to get out of this backwater place.
In the interest of helping the village, it may enable us to go a little bit further with them to do things of that nature. It's a transaction.
I don't need a bank full of favors. I just got to get one frickin' pass clear.
You. That's what I hear all the time. Are we done?
Tell me about Miles. What do you recognize these symbols? What is this? I don't.
I will step up.
Make a charisma saving throw.
Is that still up? I haven't put it down.
It's up for a minute, so I don't know. I don't think that conversation took a minute. I was just standing there.
It would still be up. Yeah. It would still be up if you kept it up.
I was just standing there with my arms crossed watching you tell off boss, and now I'm very interested.
What's the next save?
It's a charisma save, 11.
What's my charisma? I walk up and walk into that darker area, and my eyes glow bright and seem to pierce through it a little bit, and I apparently am unaffected as I walk through and check the cleric.
I just watch you with my eyes. Obviously, what else do you watch people with?
Okay, so you're checking the cleric, and you see this. It's got all these symbols. Are you proficient in like history or religion?
I got Arcana and history.
Okay, you go ahead and roll history for me. Roll.
14.
14. Nothing's really ringing a bell. Seems like some weird kind of cult guy that you don't care about being raised in, Baldur's Gate.
Backwoods cultist. What else do you need? People all over, mess with stuff they don't understand, trying to get a little bit of power, and then they wind up dead. Thank you, Crisis. Excellent work. I liked the show. You're my favorite so far. Don't tell the labs.
All right. Glad I could kill that guy for you. So we going to bring him back with us or what?
Well, this one wants to run off after a frost dude on horseback.
Never said that.
I think she was trying to cooperate with him so we could get some more information about what the fuck is going on here.
Well, we know which way he rode, if you care to go ask him any questions.
I'm going to go walk over to Teleps. How is he doing?
I mean, he's on the brink of death, bleeding from every orifice that he could possibly have that's bleeding. And he looks like he just got the shit kicked out of him multiple ways to Sunday.
I'm gonna go offer to take his arm and put it around my neck if he wants some stabilization.
Oh, I do not want to get my blood all over you. Please don't.
Oh, no, please, I don't mind.
I'll sidle up to them and give Miles a look like, do you see this guy here? And I'll just sort of like put a hand on Tulips' shoulder and just say, you'll be all right, Tulips. You just need to get a little water in you. And I'll use healing hands and restore 3 hit points.
Oh, maybe some water would do me well. Maybe I'll melt some of this snow. And
that was what I was just calling my weird magical abilities that I apparently have. But yeah, water would probably be good too. Bleeding out will dehydrate you.
It's true. There's lots of liquid in blood.
Yeah, and boss needs your blood to entertain her for the next little while, so try and keep it in your body, all right?
Does anyone have a canteen? I'm going over my equipment. I don't have anything like that. I just
you guys all do, and you guys all would have canteens or some kind of
Water
adventure
skin.
pack that could, you can drink. Yeah, water skin of some sort. You did travel for 4 weeks, so if you don't have that written down.
So, which way are we heading here? We gonna bring these bodies back to the village, or we want to find out what's up with Frosty the snowman over there?
I do not believe I am in any position to hunt anymore this day. There are 4 bodies and 4 of us. I say we take them back to the town. I would prefer to take one of the smaller ones.
You're pretty beat up, and I got it. Then I'll just carry 2.
I'll get the cleric guy. That guy was mine. Sling
What's
him
left
over my
of them
shoulder.
anyway. You know what? I'm going to try to carry the 3rd. Drop my shield, drop my sword, pick up the 3rd one just to make a point.
Give me a strength check.
Oh, gosh. Oh, please.
Hey, Odd Stuff, you dropped your shield and your sword over here. You're gonna need those.
Luckily, I rolled a 2 with my modifier, gives me a 5.
Okay, so you struggle to pick up the 3rd body just because of the awkwardness of having 3 of them. You can pick up 2, okay, just because you can get them over your shoulder. But this 3rd one, you're trying and it's not working. You're looking ridiculous trying to get the 3rd one. You're like dragging it with your feet. You're trying to get it in.
All right, I drop it.
That's fine. I'll grab it.
All right.
Okay,
Unless
so
I had some magic to carry these.
Oh, yeah, it's too bad.
Shame.
No.
Hey, look what I can do though. And I'll use I have the guy on my shoulder, the cleric guy, and I'm gonna cast light on his cape. I'll be like, see that? That's magic for you.
Golf clap.
Yes. Oh my god, I saw a tweet one time that was like, can we all just golf clap during D&D? And it just actually happened. Oh my god.
D&D, where all your dreams come true.
all of them. So yeah, you guys can make it back. You make it back pretty much unscathed. One of the things you do notice when you were picking up those bodies too is that you did notice that there are 3 basically things that were underneath the bodies, which were basically dead owlbear babies that were looking like they were part of this ritual. They were not all cute though. They were definitely terrifying looking, menacing, evil mole rat creatures.
No, not the babies.
So they they look like they were used in the ritual to kind of move life from one direction to the other, and they were covered by the zombie bodies that were laying over top of them. So you guys make your way back, and then you kind of come.
Before we leave, can I take one of the dead owlbear babies?
Yes, you can
Thank
carry one of the.
Put that in my bag of holding because it's an object.
Okay,
Once it's dead, it becomes an object, right?
I think there's a suffocation roll for it. So if it was living, you could still put it in there. So you bring it. You start to trek back about an hour and a half later, almost 2 hours by now, because you're carrying all the bodies and stuff. You kind of make your way outside the woods, and you're kind of a little off course, but close enough with Teleps's direction that you're starting to make it back to where Cedric and Caleb's house was.
Looking at these corpses as I'm carrying them, so we know we're missing like 2 women and a man. Do these kind of fit the description of Elizabeth and the other 2?
Yes.
Well,
Seems like we know what killed him. Kind of.
Well, this presents an interesting question, doesn't it? Because either a owlbear killed them, which is what everyone in town would think and is worried about, and the town would go on okay, or crazy cultist in the wood killed them with a giant guy on a horse with tendrils, and we cause a general panic.
If we only knew more information about that cultist, we could put their minds at ease. But
Just a point of clarification. Did I hear correctly that each of the bodies also had a symbol carved into them?
Yeah, the tops of them look like they, as you were picking them up and looking at them, you realize it is the same symbol that the cleric had on his forehead.
I mean, these don't look like they were killed by no owl bears. If you ask me, I'm not even a professional, but it seems like the wounds aren't as savage from, especially that thing we just killed. We should have brought the owl bear body with us, but I think this guy here, old Hoodface, Mr. Die 10 times or whatever, will be enough to maybe find some stuff out. Hey, can I search this guy? I should have thought of that before I picked him up.
You don't need my permission, just search him.
I don't know. I don't know what is it like grave robbing? People frown on that.
He's not in a grave. He was clearly above the ground. Free game.
Roger that, hot stuff. I'm just gonna own it now. I don't care who Roger is.
Did that cleric give his name as Roger?
Yeah, that'll be what he's called now. Can I roll for this?
Yeah, so you basically can go out and do stuff. You don't have to really roll, but
I already
you can
did.
roll investigation. Okay, what would you get for investigation?
13 plus 0.
Let's make it useful. Right. So you do see like in his chest, like he had something underneath his chest, one in his pockets that was a like a letter, but it is written in a script not known to you. And then there is a what looks like a small coin pouch that carries about 30 gold pieces and 22 silver pieces on it. And then you see, like I said, the chain shirt and a basically some kind of spell focus that looks like it was like a small orb or something that he kept in his hand when he casted spells.
You said how much money was it?
30 gold pieces and 22 silver pieces.
All right. I'm just going to tuck that right into my pocket, and I'll turn around and be like, there's a letter here, but I can't read it. Anyone else got weird languages under their belt?
Give. Can I read it?
No. So it looks like a script that is foreign to you. Some things you haven't seen before in your time.
Are you sure? Can I roll? I might get a nat 20.
No, I'm sure that you can't read it.
Okay.
Mm.
May I?
You can give it a shot. No, I mean, sorry. Are you asking me or are you asking, I guess, her?
I was asking Mr. Bitcheskip, yeah.
Okay.
You have my permission.
Okay, yeah, you open it, and about every 10th word out of the script looks like a word that you recognize. You can't really understand why, because it's not in any sign. It's like almost like it's not thieves' cant, but it's that kind of a memory to you. Like you feel like you just understand how to read it, even though it's not in any. It's basically in what you would consider gibberish, and you see words like spire and tower. Then you see some word called a rhyme mare, and then you see some kind of foreign language that basically translates roughly to what you come to in your mind dictate as resurrection.
So I share the words that I recognize, and I say I have heard of such a thing as this might be what they call a cipher. That is that on appearance appears to say one thing, but when the key or the code is known, you can determine exactly what it says. But there are some words, most of the words I do not understand at all, let alone the overall message.
Give me a
All
roll
right.
on. Give me a roll at advantage, Tullips, on history.
History. That would be lucky 7 with advantage.
Very
Tullips
lucky.
did not. Well, no. Okay, yeah, you don't seem to. Nothing triggers you. You did not pay attention in school, so.
I'm rich. You don't gotta pay attention to school.
I host the cleric back on my shoulder, and I say, well, real useful. Maybe Madame May will know what to do with it.
Here. All right. Who won?
I'll
take
take a
it.
glance at it.
I go for it, and then I'm like, okay, I don't want to touch him. So
I mean, I'm sure I glance at it. It's just nothing.
Yeah, you don't dictate. You can't get any dictation out of it. It's just some weird gibberish that doesn't even look like real words. You you're not even sure if Teleps is bullshitting you or not. Knowing Teleps long enough.
I hold the letter out to Vitrusgaith, but that very much like I hold it out, but like I'm not coming any closer, and she has to like reach out for it.
Yeah, I'm just walking past him.
Tuck it in, keep going. Add
Okay.
one letter to my inventory.
Okay, so yeah, you guys get past the houses, and it's been a couple of hours, right? You know, it's an hour in, and then about 2 hours back out. So, you guys, it's pretty late in the evening now.
Are the lights on? Are Caleb or Cedric home?
No, they're not home. By the dictation or the understanding of the town, it's very possible that they're back at the Blue Blizzard.
What did you want to do? Like drop their dead people right on their doorstep or something?
No, if they were here, I'd lay them out respectfully and then call them in. I think we're better just taking them to Madame Angela and then letting them know they can pay their respects there.
Hey, there's an idea, hot stuff. Let's do it. Love Madame A.
Unless there's some objection from anyone else in the group. Great.
Okay, so you make your about 30-minute hike because it's about 15 minutes there without the bodies, and you get towards the church, which is kind of on the main strip there, kind of in that cliche, the strip ends in the church. So,
is there like a surreptitious way, not down the main thoroughfare carrying?
Yeah, I mean, there's ways you can go down.
More respectfully get around the back.
Yeah, this is a real town, so it's it's got a strip, but it's got alleyways and pieces, and you're kind of walking behind the back ways to kind of get to where you can see the spire of the church is, because the church is like one of the tallest buildings in the town. So you guys make it to the front door, and you guys go in. As you open the door, there is Madame Angela. She is basically washing herself off, and a basin to the right side of the church, where she's kind of cleaning her hands. And she looks over and she says, "Oh, well, hell, it looks like you found some people we are looking for then. Oh, goodness gracious. And look at that one in the back. Man, he's bleeding all over the place. You a couple more hits and you'd be on my door."
We are on your door.
I mean the other door, honey. The one that I make sure you pass through.
There was the owl bear. It was very ferocious.
She leans down and proceeds to watch, because she's got blood all over her. She just leans down, very seductively, and pulls up the slit of her dress and cleans off all the way up to her high thigh and the blood that she's basically been waiting in at this altar. And she's like, "Oh, an owl bear. Well, do tell me. I must hear more. Right? Did you kill it in one blow?"
No, it took several hits. And
she kind of gives you that sad.
I put the body down.
Speaking of which, there is something that could be time relative to time, and I'll step forward and withdraw the baby snowy owlbear, the dead baby snowy owlbear, and cradle it in my hands and kind of look to Angela pleadingly, and is like, "Is there anything that you can do for this one? I believe it has died soon, recently."
Well, unfortunately, dear, I can't help you pass it through. Although I've never done an owlbear's corpse. Usually, they sell those kind of things in the square for furs and things, But I can either use it for parts for things that we need, or I can certainly pass it on to the other side if you seem to be so attached to it. But it has been longer than a few minutes, so I can't bring it back with the powers that I have.
If you would help it pass on, I'd be most appreciative.
I can go through the ceremonies as many do. Is this a creature attached to you in any way, dear?
Not particularly. It is.
She motions down to Fletch. She's like, "Burr."
I was thinking that it could provide the village some protection because it is a beast. It could be trained. But if you can't revive it, that is what it is. As for the respects, I just think that these things were killed to be a component in a ritual. We believe, and I feel that it is a gross disrespect of a life that has otherwise been overlooked.
Well, certainly, I will most definitely then, if it has been attributed to any kind of necromancy, make sure that it passes safely and cleanly, to make sure that the protection of the town is not only at risk, but the body is sanctified.
Thank you, Angela.
As anybody would say that, in my religion, the undead are an abomination to this world.
I'll put my arm out for her to kind of clasp and shake.
She shakes your hand and she's kind of looks at your arm and your physique and is like, oh, such a firm grasp. I bet you really
not in the mood,
person.
Angela.
Oh,
as they're having that around. Nice moment, Crises is just gonna walk up and just like plop the cleric down on the ground next to her, and I'll be like, yeah, so if you're done there with boss, maybe you want to take a look at this guy. He's got some symbols or some shit on him. He was the underling of the Frosty the Snowman,
She looks down and she goes, well, dear Lord, my friend, you always so gruesome with them when you take them down. It's going to be a lot to clean up, to pass on.
Is it just me?
You should have seen the owlbear.
Is there a... We've been here before and she was dealing with someone before. Are there like tables where she prepares people?
Yep.
Where a body ought to go?
Yeah, there's like one big altar where she's like doing the last rites kind of part of it, where she's like selling them up and cleaning them off and moving them. But the rest of it's like basically it's basically a morgue. It's just a morgue that you can worship in.
So the two that I have, I'm going to go and somewhat respectfully like lay out on some slabs and try to deal with their corpses respectfully.
Okay, so you lay the corpses down, and she looks down. She kneels down by the cleric and touches his basically sigil on the top of his head, and she goes, "Is this the man who was performing these acts with the owlbear?"
Yeah, and you don't need to worry about passing him on too gently or nothing. I think you could just shove him into the afterlife, or maybe we did already, but I wouldn't worry too much about his rights. Doesn't seem to me like he needs them.
Well, unfortunately, dear, that's important that all creatures that pass on unnaturally have rights.
You say so,
I want to
ma'am.
make sure. I've seen a great many undead and studied a great many undead as they have, raged in anger to harm, and the undead have no stake towards good, so not the good don't rise again.
Okay, and we're back.
Hey, sorry about that. So, she looks down and she says, "Well, dear, honeys, sugars, do you know or do you recognize the symbol?" And she looks over at Teleps and she goes, "You should, being from Crest, you should, as well as I do, know the history of this symbol and how dark it is. Are you not familiar with this visage?"
I'm afraid I do not. If it is as dark as you say, I would have nothing to do with it, of course.
Well, I just, it was taught in most schools that this is Auror's symbol. Auror is a goddess of frost, and about 80 years ago, there was a siege laid by a mad witch that tried to destroy Crest, and she successfully destroyed about half a Bayside. And luckily they've rebuilt since then, but it was 80 years ago. But it looks like this is some remnants of some of the people that may have survived the siege, or some people that have maybe taken up arms again with her.
It was before my time. I do not know if this rings a bell. Does it ring a bell?
Okay. I mean, it's a little bit. I mean, like you're like, oh yeah, there was some frost cult that sacked Crest. Like, I was busy playing with the dog. Right.
I'm just like watching Tulips with this like expression on my face, like, lady fucking said that a witch tried to take over the city and burn down half the city, and I love this air of foppery you still got going on about you, but I think it's kind of a big deal if we connect the dots here a little bit. We were in Crest. We suddenly, poof, vanish out of Crest, way far out of Crest, and then we find these people walking around with the symbols carved in them of some witch that tried to take over Crest. I don't know. Seems weird to me. What do you think, Madam A?
Well, my darling, I've seen a lot of weird types out here, and it wouldn't be uncommon to see a new subcult trying to grow up. It would be very difficult for a cult to establish itself again. I mean, most of the 5,000 that rode south to destroy Crest didn't survive. They were tossed into the bay, and the lady herself was tossed into the abyss, into basically a death sentence for her punishment to endure. Basically, Crest people are not one to put people to the axe, so we're much more civilized than that. So we send them to a 9 hells or some plane of the abyss to serve their sentence. And so that being said, well, we want to make sure that they, exile is the best banishment, and we feel that doing that is a little easier than just chopping off the head of somebody, especially with resurrection and other spells. But yeah, she was cast in the abyss about 80 years ago from the first plateau. She was tossed in, and I'm trying to think if there was any other important details I remember from schools. But yeah, I mean, the Riders of Rhyme, they were a very, very dangerous group.
The Riders of Rhyme?
Rhyme, my dear. Rime, as in the frozen frost of the very infamous and dangerous rhyme mare that they had cultivated over the many years.
What's that word you just said? Rhyme mare?
Yeah, it's a rhyme
mare. What is that?
It's basically a legendary and dangerous frozen horse that exists. That this group was famous for riding. Most of the rhyme mares were lost in the battle, and those who scattered to the winds, never to be seen again from the riders that left and in terror when the army.
I'm trying to catch Boss's eye, and I've just got like a kind of like upward inflection eyebrow thing going on right now. Like, you hearing this?
Yeah, I see you.
Sounds familiar.
Well, I mean, most schools taught it, so it shouldn't be too unfamiliar. But if you're not from this region, it could be that this wasn't taught in your schools. But yes, this could be an uprising of a sect, a cult, trying to manipulate the deeds of them. Although they weren't big into necromancy as much as they were just coercion and trying to convince others to join their cult. So something seems off here. Maybe some form of a copycat or somebody who is trying to do something different. You said you found this man here with these 3 bodies. As she motions to 3 other bodies behind her.
Yeah, he nicked me with an icicle. So I roughed him up a bit.
Very interesting. Well,
so
right.
These Riders of Rhyme, they're not into necromancy. Were they into weird stuff like being not human, or like replacing limbs with like tentacles?
Okay, Miles goes into this stuff, right? And I'm sitting here thinking he's the one that was all like, let's not like put the village into the panic or anything. What are you doing? Continue.
I mean, no, my darling. They allied with in my school's teachings. They allied with I believe the oh dear, it was some giant group, some subsect of the giant group that hasn't ever been okay with the Treaty of the Beards in Galmir, or Treaty of Gelmir, I should say. And then so they were trying to usurp, Crest's rule over the Frost Giant realms again and bring Frost Giant power, and aided this this cult into and this Mad Witch into sieging. After somehow, I think she may have made a pact with a demon or some devil of some sort, but to get the Rhyme Mares. But other than that, I don't know anything else. My teacher, I could go look it up, but it's been a long time. I don't have any books here, but there are books that teach on this in most larger cities.
Well, I'm sure it
Eloquent
doesn't
eyebrows.
matter. Sure, it doesn't matter. I'm sure this is an isolated incident.
I mean, it's very, very likely it's somebody trying to scare some people at the town. I would like it if you kept it quiet for now until we see some other things. But I will let Radagast know, so that he knows that he needs to be wary of crazed madmen. And it's not uncommon we see mountain men that come from the hills that are just mad with cold fever. And it could be that something like this, or somebody trying to stir up trouble and scare the townsfolk. She grabs the body and starts to put it on one of the racks.
Here, I'll help you with that. I'll lift it for her.
Okay. Yeah, you help her put it on the rack. She starts to for the rack. She says, "Well, my dears, I am ever in your favor for finding these three and then finding this body to collect. And if it is true what you say, they were trying to practice necromancy, then I am yet again in your debt. For this is something that's forbade in our religion. So." What I can do is I can, ensure that Garnosh clears the way in the morning for you and starts, I reach out to him sometime this evening and he can start clearing overnight and hopefully be back by midday and clear way to Goldsport if you have business there, supposedly, with your twin friends.
You could say that.
Thank you for your help.
Wonderful. Well, please, I guess, stay at the Blue Blizzard, and you can stay the evening, get yourselves warm, and then see yourselves out of town if you have other duties to attend. Hopefully in the morning. I would advise that if you are on a haste, the pass is probably on the clear for a couple of days before Garnosh would have to reopen it again, and I would hate to have to bother him more than once. So,
well, it's mighty late. Why don't you hold off on talking to Garnash until tomorrow? Maybe we'll.
Well, if we do tomorrow, my dear, he has to do it in the evening so that you can leave in the daytime, right? So unless you want to, head out at night.
Oh, I don't mind one more day.
Well, I mean, you're more than welcome to stay then.
But
don't let me.
We've
don't let me
apparently
keep
been
you
traveling
from Snowberry.
together. I don't speak for these people.
So don't let me keep you in Snowberry any longer than you wish. But if you we could always love a few extra helping hands around here. It seems that you guys
seem very unconcerned about cultists running amok in your woods and killing people right now. Am I reading this wrong?
Darling, there's a lot of people who die. There's a lot of crazy people who do crazy things here, right? One cultist popping up is nothing to be alarmed for me, and I think we can handle it if it's just one cultist being crazy. We'll keep a little bit, town watch going on, and I guess we'll make sure that we stay safe.
All right. Eloquent eyebrows at boss.
Eloquent
Do
eyebrows
remember.
back.
Do remember, my dears, that as Garnosh is, good at clearing passes, he is also a frost giant. So it would take quite a bit to bother Snowberry any more than just a few innocent mishaps. And even though these poor people would look like they were gored and killed before this ever happened, it makes me think that the cult was trying to steal bodies from this owlbear than it was to actually steal bodies from the town. So as she starts to pick through like the dirt and rummage of the bodies.
All right. Buy you a drink over at the Blue Blizzard there, hot stuff.
I won't say no.
You coming, boss?
Of course.
All right. Find Tulip something to stitch him up with.
Actually, that's an excellent point. Madam Angela, Do you have any libation or salve that might help Teleps here?
And she looks over and she says, "That's the least I can do for your great deeds." And she leans over and like pulls out of her one of her drawers and where the body prep areas are. She pulls out a balm and she hands it. She says, "Here, Teleps, this is a balm that you can use. It looks like there's a little left in it that you can use to heal. If you apply it to your wounds, it will give some aid and some soothing to you and heal you up just a little bit. It's a healing potion."
Tulip seems pretty out of it, but I'll make sure Hot Stuff over here rubs it on him. They seem pretty close, if you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, I could definitely rub it on Teleps if you need somebody to rub it on him. I mean, if you guys have some business at the Blue Blizzard, I can definitely take poor Teleps here.
I think we should leave Teleps here for his necessary treatment, and he can come join us when he's done.
Yeah, he's conked out on the bench over there, so maybe just take care of him and send him our way.
Well, I will certainly do that if he's kind enough to do that. If you want to take you away, then I will send him over there. Give him a couple of hours. He'll be okay.
All right. As we're leaving and heading towards the Blue Blizzard, I'm going to turn to Miles and I'm going to be like, "So, I found some gold on this cleric guy over here, and I'm thinking it'd be appropriate to buy drinks for people who had the dead family members. That seemed like a good good way to do things."
It's your gold. You found it. You dealt with him, and it's a rightful find is yours. So whatever you'd like to do.
Sound like my kindergarten teacher.
Alcohol can do a lot to help with mourning. You went to kindergarten?
Awesome. Probably. Doesn't everyone go to kindergarten?
I mean,
What's kindergarten?
it's like
it's school for little people.
Most
Do they
people
play
can't
at the little
afford
people?
it. It's an old Luskin term for something or other, but yeah, most people can't afford it. Most kids just run around poor in the streets. If you had a kindergarten teacher, maybe that's a clue about your past.
Maybe. I like it. All right. So, kick in the door to the Blue Blizzard. Not like big spider kick, but like little nudge kick.
Yeah, as you're exiting the church, you hear her grab Teleps and you say, "Oh, come here, big stuff! Don't be running away too quickly." And she grabs him and and so you kick open the door and you hear Fidget and he says, "Oh, well, damn, I think you back in already. Hell, man, you gotta quit about that business." Right, and Cedric and Caleb kind of near the door and they stop you and they go, please tell me good news, my friends."
Can't really do that. So, you want to change your request?
He begins to weep.
Bodies have been recovered.
He begins to weep,
They're in the chapel.
And Caleb and Cedric are holding each other, weeping, and he's like, his brother, you hear him say, "Brother, it was good. It was good while she lasted, and it's how Snowberry is. We lose him as fast as we gain him. And my friend, it's just, she was a good wife." Right, and he's like, crying, and he's like, "But I really liked this one. I thought I finally found the right one." Right, and he's like, "Look, man, you know the rule here." And they both kind of look at each other and they smile and they pour a small drink, and then they pour it on the floor and they say, "Yep."
Just because she died doesn't mean that she wasn't the right one.
And then you see him say, "We drink and we die." Right, and then they pour another drink on the floor for the fallen.
Why does anyone want to live here? I don't really get it. Is this just a place full of alcoholics?
We're all humans this way.
You can go pay your respects now. Madam Angela's there with your loved ones. You could.
I don't know if they've got any respect.
And they smile and they say thank you, and then they grab like their drinks and they walk over to the church.
This is an interesting place.
Yeah, I don't really understand the whole appeal. In fact, I don't understand any of the appeal. All you can do here is drink and die. Actually,
I do
I do kind of get it.
I do appreciate the seclusion and the lack of guards.
Mm. Yeah.
There's a larger lady that comes over and she goes, "Hi, how's it going? Well, would you like something to drink? I can get you something to drink."
Is it free?
Well,
I got you, boss.
For you tonight. Well, okay.
Oh no, you got her. I got you. You got me too.
Well, I was just, Fidget said he's got one on the house for you guys since y'all did such a good time helping him and the town out with, with their problems. So, we figured you'd get you a drink.
I will take you on that offer. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. I'll have what she's having.
Oh, all right. Is it, and she goes on back. And
Whatever you got in a tankard, give me one.
And she brings it over and she slaps it down in front of you guys. She goes, "This is one of our best, right? It's Snowberry's finest."
Death or drink?
Oh, you're funny. You guys have heard the town motto, then, haven't you? Yeah, we drink, we die here. That's what we do. She's like, best brewery in the north.
Well,
Yeah,
your place
too kind.
to die.
Is she like? Is this whole? So is this just people who live a rough life and it's kind of gallows humor, or is there like some really much more deeper macabre, like we live in constant threat of death and we just gotta like push through with a big smile, but we're really crying inside, like the clown who's crying as he's putting on his makeup? Like,
roll insight, because it's supposed to be weird. I mean, I'm making it weird on purpose. So,
well, that's a 3.
You're not sure. You're like, you can't get the bid on if it's supposed to be funny or like dark and funny, like you're crying on the inside. You're like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I've never seen that reaction before where they joke about how this is his multiple wife that has died. Right? It's very awkward.
Y'all got like a brochure to this place or something? Does it just say like Snowberry, we drink and we die? I mean, what are the tourist attractions around here?
Oh, well, hell, there's Church of Kalambor, and then there's, the Blue Blizzard, and there's a couple more taverns down the way, as you keep going downtown, and then, we got our fine. Oh, you're talking about the lights, then? Is that what you're talking about?
I am.
Oh, sure, lights pass through here, at least, every, it's probably more towards the fall time, but, it gets towards the wintertime, too, here. Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
All
Well,
right.
You've been lovely. I think my companions and I would like some peace and quiet after our excursion.
Okay. And then, she hands it to you, and you see the side of the tankard. It says Death's Bitters, right? And she walks off, as that's the brew that she handed you.
How's it taste?
What was it? Desk Betters?
Death's Bitters.
Thank you.
And, yeah, it tastes like a very, very, very solid, very fine ale. Something you're not probably you probably are more familiar with ale than say somebody like Teleps or Incendiar. But yeah, it's a very fine brew. It's a dark like lager brew.
Cool. After taking that sip, I will turn to Miles and kind of lean on the counter and say, "Miles, I apologize for hurting you earlier. Are you all right?"
I'm fine.
It didn't hurt much.
Let's grab a table. Let's sit around and look at each other while we talk about this.
It's a weird way to ask me something, but sure. Think he likes looking at you, boss.
I'm not going to assume anything right now. Would I be offended? Not necessarily.
So I'll just corner just some sort of table where we can sit and we're like facing each other, not like a bar where it's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you get the corner table in the corner where you're around each other. Mm-hmm.
No, I'm fine. This is nothing in particular, though in the moment I was somewhat confused. Care to? You said you were trying to get in on their good side. Why did you think that would work?
Why would it not work?
Because cultists in the woods doing something that's probably very taboo, and a stranger just showing up and being like, "Hey, I'm with you guys."
Oh, is that how I looked, Crises?
I didn't think so. I thought you were just there to have a conversation instead
I
of
would be
jumping in
mortified.
blades first. Boss is a bit of a smooth talker. I don't know if you've noticed.
Miles, control your shoulders.
What?
Are they laughing?
No, you were going like this.
Oh. I don't like to sit still. It's hard for me. I move around a lot.
Okay, fair enough. No, I was intending on gleaning information. I have done such a thing before. Sometimes people do judge you on your appearances. In that case, I have a little bit of an edge towards those of the taboo and nefarious varieties.
Any other edges that you have?
I'm a dragon.
I mean, metaphorically, I'm sure. You
No,
you
I'm
spit
a
out-
real
okay.
dragon. I'm a black dragon.
And you're just passing your time with the hoi polloi?
No, not at all. Well, this job in particular was supposed to gain me 5,000 platinum.
No, but I mean, so you're a dragon, like a great big thing with wings that spits acid, I assume.
Correct.
But you're very clearly an elf with some elaborate and irregular horns. I'll grant you that.
Do you
So-
suppose that just because something's shape changes, it erases the essence of them? I do not think that.
No, my question is, if you're a black dragon who have, admittedly, the stories say fantastical powers, have you just decided to take this form and run around Snowberry with the rest of us?
No, Miles, this was not my choice. Of course it wasn't. Who would ever be anything other than a dragon if they are a dragon?
So this is my question. Why are you?
I will tell you if you stop talking.
As he stops talking, I just get up and walk and leave the bar. And I'm like, I'll be right back. You two keep going. This is important. Open communication. That's how we build good relationships. See you in a
He's
second.
just talking to me about building relationships. I must have fucked up.
And I
Miles.
slink away.
The story goes, first off, I'm close to being 500 years old. When you have a lifetime as long as mine, a lot of things tend to happen in it. Some for the better, some for the worse. A very powerful entity came into my swamp one day, started trouble, antagonized me. I went to retaliate. I found that they were not what they seemed. And after draining me of much of my own magical defenses, he polymorphed me into what you see now. And doing so, in one fell swoop, stripped is the wrong word, blocked me of much of my power. I am regaining it, but if I can regain it faster, then that is my preference. What do you
Do
think?
I believe her?
Roll a insight check.
9 plus 0. 9.
She seems on the level.
Do I get the sense that he's trying to figure out whether or not he believes me?
I mean, yeah, he's probably got it as squinty. I mean, I'm assuming, Cindy, you probably have some kind of obvious tell where you're like looking at her kind of confused. I mean, it's not, it's pretty
I mean,
deep
I have a
look. I mean, you're
charisma
like,
of 1. I maybe am holding it back a little bit.
Okay, so this is what I do. I get up from the table. I lean way across it. I am maybe a foot away from his face. I open my eyes wide and I say, "Look into my eyes and find your truth." And they are dragon's eyes. They are acid green with vertical pupils.
You look back into eyes that literally, inexplicably glow fire. They look normal, but light literally shines out of them, which is kind of equally weird. So you're trying to get back to who you are. Do I understand that right?
Yes, that's all I want. That and treasure. Lots and lots of treasure.
So why do you want to stay in Snowberry and deal with cultists and get closer to Rhyme horses, the riders of Rhyme, the frost horses?
I don't. And I'll sit back down. And I thought I explained that earlier. It's a transactional purpose. You come with more than what they asked for. You reserve it, you ask for more, and then you have an exchange afterwards.
So what else do you want besides getting out of this moribund place?
I intend, when I have the capacity, to regain my armies, return to the Spider Swamp, retake what is mine, and have a nice mud bath.
And destroy, is it Catalina?
Why would I do that?
Who is Catalina? Is that not the person who blocked your power?
No, not at all.
Because last we
Ivar
talked, you wanted Catalina kidnapped.
No, you have it all wrong. Catalina and Ivar are the twins, the brother and sister, of a similar age, that conscripted us for the 5,000 platinum job.
I see.
The person that we are sent to kidnap does not have a name that I'm aware of.
Ah.
And that is not their real names either, to the best of my awareness. Yes. The person in the Spider Swamp that blocked my power from me is a dark elf, male.
At this moment, Crises will just slide back into the booth, heedless of whatever they were talking about, and just put their arms up on the table and say, "So listen, I hope that you guys are making up and becoming friends now or whatever beautiful shit. But familiar guy just walked out of the bar and I followed him to the alley and he disappeared right before my eyes. Seems to be happening a lot.
Perhaps it is a
Thought you might
programmed
want to
illusion.
know. Seems like that might be possible, considering how we ended up from Crest to here.
And don't forget, we weren't suddenly magicked here. It's been 4 weeks and we were charmed in one way or another, and memories have come back to me slowly. I don't know about you two.
Me and memories don't get along super great.
I thought that might be the case. Look, I was pretty unhappy earlier this morning. All I wanted to do was get out of here, go find the twins, and figure out what they were about before I cut them in two. Fact of the matter is, I could use a little stretch. Heaven's Crest is a confining place.
Isn't it, though? We finally agree on something.
And frankly, Teleps, I'd call him a friend. I've been his nominal bodyguard, mostly as a favor. I'm not exactly his employee, and I'm not his general. Whatever you two have going on here, that's something unique. But I feel like he could stretch his legs a little bit too. He hasn't been exposed enough to the outside world.
Seems like he got exposed enough. They exposed his goddamn freaking lungs out when that owlbear got into him.
That's an excellent point. Well, Angela,
Exposing him right now.
Surprised. I'll be surprised. Well, there's a reason I sent 2 other people over there. Teleps is a particular type. For all that he appears to be, for everything that he seems to be, and you'd be right, looking at him and making certain assumptions, there are things about him that'll surprise you. And I think you might be a little surprised how things with Angela go. But nonetheless, this morning all I could think about is getting out of here. Now that I appreciate that there's a little more space. This is a weird ass town, and I might be interested in seeing out a thing or two. Plus, I mean, if we could get frozen horses, that would be legit.
Seems like it'd be a weird combination with your fire body. Wouldn't you just like melt the thing or something?
I mean, I run hot, but I'm not like literally on fire.
I don't know, hot stuff. You look like you could be on fire. Fiery personality and all that.
Well, my middle name is related to Flame and Incendiar. It's a family name. Cinder, Phoenix, Flame. It's all a part of who I am.
How do you feel about that?
About what?
The mantle placed upon you, it seems, against your will.
Oh no, I've escaped any mantle I had. I came from a town with expectations and with structures and rules, and I kowtowed in that society, and it just stifled me like a flame under a piece of glass, just burning out under the lack of oxygen. And eventually I just figured out I'm me. I am who I am, and I didn't care much for where I was, so I left.
If you're looking for a place outside of major cities, my army is seeking lieutenants.
Well, we'll see about that.
Got a great retirement plan.
I've already been in one army. I don't need to be in a second one.
Hey, you'll notice.
Oh, Radagast? Yeah, he's listening.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Radagast piece of what?
We should all laugh really loudly right now.
I mean, but no, I'm quite certain the three of us could burn this building to the ground. And
quite.
Should anyone cross?
Radagast flips around and looks at you and goes, all right, I get that you. I was dropping some eaves. I was listening to your conversation. I heard something about dragons.
I mean, pull up a chair, Radagast. No reason to eavesdrop. Just come sit with us.
Yes, come over here. Come, have my drink.
He kind of sits down next to you and says, I got my own, thanks. And he slides over a coin purse to you guys and says, this is from me. I want to thank you properly for
I take that real fast.
Really helping us out with the dead there. Some people, we have a grim look, we have a different look on death than some people do, and it's quite confusing to most, but like here, we drink and die around here pretty often, and I just want to say thanks for bringing the dead back. Some interesting history in this town, and it's a different kind of place up here in Snowberry. A lot of weird shit happens when the avalanches happen in, and apparently we get dragon people coming through. So I just want to say thanks for that, and then if you guys end up making your way tomorrow, I just want you guys to know that I'll have your horse settled up and a cart to pull it. I'm gonna get somebody to fashion a cart that we have spare of, and you guys can kind of make your way to Goldsport in a nice, comfortable manner, befitting of decent people. I find myself a good judge of character, and that's why I kind of took you guys in, and hoping that you guys can understand. As rough as the start was, I may have prejudged you a little bit too early, I think. And you folks seem like good people and mean well. And I'm hoping that whatever it is, adventure you find, can help you out. But speaking on some of your stories, I know some pretty far-fetched stories from a man in Goldsport named Malios, if you don't find your friends. And if he's still there, he's in the the Dragon's Hoard Tavern. And he smiles at, Vitchscape and says, maybe fitting name for somebody to stay there like you. And you can probably find him there. He was there this summer, and he's not getting himself in a lot of trouble. But he's a man who knows a lot of stories, and might know some of the stories you guys are looking for, or some of the people he's looking for. And if those twins made it through there, he probably knows who they are. He's a man who's very interested in lore and history, and those kind of things. And telling, as he says, I think he put it, the Thieves Guild will try to find a rumor and find all angles of a rumor. It's the Bards Guild who tells the truth of a story. So you can find him over there and kind of ask him some questions. Just tell him I sent you, and he'll hopefully have good wares for you.
Radagast, it seems the way that you talk about this town like you do, that you have complicated feelings for it. Would you like to come with us?
No, apparently.
That is a hard no. That is I am out.
It's because I'm a dragon. Scared him away. I acided too hard.
Radagast pauses for a long moment as he thinks that question over real hard.
Yeah, he switches over his iPad, and he switches over to his other device, and he says, well, I do have a complicated history of this town. I've been in this town. My whole family's been in this town, and being a furbolg in a town full of unique humans. It's us half giant kin. We're a different type of breed, and these humans are endearing, even though they're confusing sometimes. And I do love this town and its people, but I don't think I could part with it. But I'll do my best to make sure you guys get seen off safe, and you guys make your way to whatever dealings you have with the twins. And I feel that whatever fate comes out of you guys from the twins is deserving of whatever's happened, hearing your stories and making sense of it with Angela and some of the townsfolk.
Fair enough, but if you change your mind, send me a sending.
Well, if I find somebody that does that and I change my mind, I'll make sure that I do that, knowing it's Stitch's case on this plane.
We're looking for lieutenants, and I'll hand him Vitriscape's business card with a wink. Great retirement plan.
Right.
Black writing.
But that being said, if you guys do make your way out of town tomorrow after Garnosh has cleared up the paths, as he's already working on it, we can we can send you off properly. I'll give you some warmer clothes and a couple of tricks we have, and some features that we may have in the town that's unaccustomed to folk from the south like yourselves. Because once you start to get in the higher plains out there, the wind catches real cold, and even the warmest furs won't take you good. And this folk here, points at the Genasi and says he might be all right, but the rest of you guys catch yourself frozen to your necks by the time you get to Goldsport if you're not traveling right. So we can make sure that you guys have the garnishes for that, and then send you off on that way.
Got real messed up. I think it would be more prudent that we stay for a couple days, make sure everything's all right. No reason to rush it. And I believe there's a crazy old codger with something about a blue dragon you wanted to look into.
Jeb is quite crazy.
Well, it wasn't to look into it for looking into its sake. It was my intention to figure out what the creature that had done everything else could do before going. If that isn't related in any way, then who cares?
Jeb is quite crazy, and I can assure you he probably just burned down his house. And if there is any beast, it's been 3 years. I'm sure that beast is long gone by now.
Radagast, all due respect, I do not believe that his tale is entirely false.
Well,
I think much of it could be, but
there's many creatures that could have caused that, and I think there's also just many things that could scare a man to to make an accident that he misremembers. But I would be far fetched to say that a dragon, is out in these parts. Even so, one as fine as yourself, ma'am.
Would it be difficult to believe that someone had created an illusion and there was arson involved?
I mean, it's very, very well could be that, but I fear that you guys might scare the town if you start going and poking around in those things.
I just mean to say, perhaps Jeb can be treated a little better than being called crazy all the time behind his back.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
I believe most folks call him crazy straight to his face, though. I mean,
I haven't seen it yet. Everyone has done it behind its back so far.
Y'all don't treat women or crazy people very well here. Even though you're all alcoholics.
Heelan's kind of smiles and looks at you and says, well, let's just say I can pay a handsome fee if you guys would head out of town early. And, I'm sure Tulips will be fine by the morning with Madame Angela's help.
Insight check.
I'll take your money.
Okay, insight check, go ahead.
Oh, not one.
He just seems to, you get the gist that he's just trying to, he's, like I said, you guys are talking some crazy talk and doing some crazy things. You kind of get the gist, maybe he's trying to be really polite about the fact that he thinks you guys might be some crazy people that are going to start some shit. And he's just like, please, I'll give you some cash if you leave. Is maybe
cash?
What his intentions are based on the that one.
5,000 platinum.
He says, well, I mean, I can give you some money if you would expedite your trip and lead the town to itself.
5 million billion platinum. How much extra money?
Let's take some rooms tonight in any case, and nothing to do until the morning. So
yeah, Crisis needs a nap.
Fidget has the rooms paid for by me this evening, so you guys can stay comfortably, each in a separate room as you see fit.
You're just made out of money, Mountain Man.
Well, money. You have to understand. You have a brother that owns a tavern, and if he doesn't have those rooms to be filled, it's not a cost to us.
All right. I was thinking more about this handsome sum you just offered us just so we'd leave a little early.
Well, I mean, the town doesn't spend its money on much, and we're a famous brewing town. And many people come down here to travel in the summertime to get brews. People
keep dying, so.
Well, a lot of people die around here. That is true.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, if nobody has any objections, I could use a little tuck-in myself. Christy's sleepy.
He gets up. He slides out and he says, well, I appreciate your time and your appreciation to my sensitive plight. If you can, I will see you in the morning right outside the tavern if you'd like, and I can give you that small fee and, wish you well with the travel goods that I have.
Wasn't it a handsome fee a couple minutes ago? Went from a handsome fee to a small fee.
Handsome's relative.
He shrugs and says, well, I bid you good evening. And he kind of, finishes his tankard off and then hands it to Fidget. And you see him motion to Fidget, something along the lines of, you can get the gist just from his mission. Hey, keep an eye on them. And Fidget, nods his head, and then he makes his way out the tavern towards his, what you assume is his house. And that's where we're going to end for this evening.
Can I, Carl, are you able to communicate? Yep, that's it. Nothing more to say. Nothing to say to anybody.
Hey,
so let's take a nap.
We'll end there for the evening. It was actually good because Carl could split in the group, so he was good to left us in the group. So we'll end for the evening there. Like I said, thanks, fans, for everybody that's watching. And I really appreciate your guys' time and investment that you've gotten in the show. Well, stay tuned for next time to see what's up with Radagast, and maybe if they stick in the town or not. See what goes on from there, and what comes to them on the traveled road to Goldsport if that's the case.
Can we go around one more time?
Yeah, sure.
You'll
So
have to
you can
speak
find
for
me
Carl,
at Cal McHale on You can find me at Cal McHale on the Twitter. I will speak for Carl. Carl, you can find him, pretty much nowhere because he doesn't want to be found.
That's not true.
You can find him on Twitter at was it Carl's the Net, right? Is that what it is? It's Carl
Carl
does
from the Net.
Carl's at Carl from the Net, right? On Twitter, and you can find him in our Discord chat, and you can find him at in our chat for Twitch. Lily, go ahead.
First things first, I just want to say that every time I hear Carl's handle, Carl from the Net, I think of Jenny from the Block, and I don't know why, it just amuses me. But my handle on my social medias is just a little nerd, and you can find me there. I do all kinds of stuff, including modeling and dice collecting and streaming and voices and videos. So all kinds of goodness. Twitter, Instagram, just a little nerd. And I also run a channel that is for femmes and friends called Roll for Damage, which you can find on all social medias and Twitch. And I will be in chat right now to say hello and maybe plug my links for you. So thanks for watching.
In the biz, we call Lily a quadruple threat.
That is the number 4 for those of you who don't know, because I just learned that the other day. And passing it off to Matt.
I'm Matt. You can find me on Twitter at MatthewKenRBM. You can find me on the Discord channel if you care to join the Open for Adventure Discord. And you can find me here every Wednesday night. And if you want to see more of me, this is the place. And then to Casey to wrap it up.
I am Casey, KCH on the socials. You can also catch me and Carl Fridays, 7 p.m. CST, 8 EST, playing Echoes in the Ether on twitch.tv/Saverick. That's SAEVRICK. Doing a spooky game about nightmares and regrets in the Planescape setting. It's really badass. Saturdays, right here on the Open for Adventure channel, 10 a.m. CST, 11 EST. We are doing half-rate heroes. We are level 15 characters, and we are fighting in a secret war against Shar, goddess of darkness and loss. Okay, that's me. Oh, yeah, that's me.
That is very true. So please check it in. You can check out Half Right Heroes, which is the next stream that comes up on this scheduled stream block. So on Saturdays. So check them out. They're pretty awesome, and they do some pretty cool stuff. And Nals is a pretty awesome Hobgoblin Asimar. So check us out. Appreciate it, everybody. And until next time, we'll see you again.
Bye.
Bye-bye.